I'm Cynthia Alvarado. I'm the Director of Operations and Strategic Planning for the Midtown Management District. I'm also the Founding Director for the Midtown Cultural Arts District. Welcome. Tonight we are going to have an artist talk celebrating and honoring Hispanic Heritage Month for 2024. I'd like to introduce the lady that will be doing the interview, Claudia De Vasco. She's an esteemed executive-level arts innovator and leader with a history as a performer, director, and producer. In January of 2024, she was appointed as the managing director of the Miller Outdoor Theater. The Miller Outdoor Theater, for those that you don't know, that aren't aware, I should say, is in the Museum District. That's one of Houston's 7 famed cultural arts districts. Ms. DeVasco leads the day-to-day operations at the Miller Outdoor Theater, which includes overseeing their grants program and performing arts and community organizations. This year, she will oversee a season of more than 100 artistically significant and culturally diverse performances in Herman Park, all presented free of charge to the public. If you've never been to the Miller Outdoor Theater, I encourage you to go. Attend a performance at the Miller, because that's what it means to be a true Houstonian. By the way, Claudia is a native Houstonian. A graduate of HSPVA, Ms. DeVasco received her Bachelor of Fine Arts from the Guthrie Theater Actor Training Program from the University of Minnesota, and by the way, she graduated summa cum laude. We expect nothing less. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Claudia DeVasco.
Come on over.
All right, thank you.
Well, I am so thankful to be invited to come and do this artist talk. I have been so amazed since coming back to my hometown, Houston, at how vibrant and wonderful it's been and how these neighborhoods have been transformed. So I'm also really excited to hear more about our invited artist today. Urias Merino is the artist behind the 2024 Hispanic Heritage Month installation that you see here on display at Bagby Park. He's also a Houston-based artist who earned his Bachelor of Fine Arts degree with a concentration in graphic design and illustration. His focus is on creating quality work, telling powerful stories, and learning new things in the process. Please join me in welcoming Urias.
Hi, everyone. Urias Merino. I wanted to first off say thank you to everybody who's out here, and hopefully y'all enjoyed the talk. Yeah.
So tell us, how did it all start for you? When did you decide that you wanted to go into the visual arts? Was there a moment? Was it gradual? Tell us your story on how you became an artist.
Okay. So I've always been interested in like the arts or the creative part of things ever since I was a kid. You could always find me with like some markers or like a notepad or like drawing around. I was fortunate enough to have people like my teachers and family members who encouraged that. So throughout school and high school, I had a lot of people who pushed me towards opportunities where I was able to show my artwork, do competitions like the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo when they have like their art stuff. So that started like the seed there about wanting to do something creative later on. So whenever it came time for going to college, I knew I wanted to do something in the creative realm, but I wasn't sure what. So I applied to U of H for engineering because I couldn't decide on what to do. And then on orientation, I ended up at the School of Arts, where I learned about, they were doing a presentation about like all their programs. And one of the ones that really caught my attention was graphic design. So first day at U of H, I changed my major to graphic design.
The first day?
Yes.
You were so confident. You said, I don't need to be here any longer.
Yeah, I was like, I think this is it. I think this one's the one to go with. So I believe that would have been the point where I was like, I think this is what I want to do. And from then on, I graduated with my Bachelor of Arts, and I've been working in the industry for about 7 years or so now. So that is my story, and now I'm here with
Congrats.
you. So, yeah. Thank
So
you.
tell me a little bit about your medium, because, you know, for many folks out there, maybe young folks considering a career in the arts, graphic design might be thought of as something that is more commercial or a skill that you learn as part of another industry. But this is your craft. This is your chosen medium. How does one arrive at that, given all the things folks can do with graphic design? And just tell us a little bit more about how you work.
Oh, of course, yeah. So I believe that you should always have like your own. You should always do your own personal projects on the side, because for specifically graphic design, you have to do a lot of projects for, like you said, commercial, for other people, for clients who have their own vision that you have to follow. So I always try to keep one or two projects going on my own, like having to do something that I am interested with, and I think that is how you get to that point where you can put your own little taste of it into the work that you're creating as well for other companies or other clients as well. Yeah.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about the process in creating the Hispanic Heritage Month installation that's here at the
Yes.
park, about your process and how you created it?
Yes, no. So whenever I was sent the open call from Fresh Arts. So I saw that the theme was Pioneers of Change, shaping the future together. And what I was thinking at the time through that theme was looking at Hispanic people who have influenced Houston in the past, who are currently influencing Houston right now, and then leaving it open to anybody who is for the future thinking about joining them or also being part of that legacy. So whenever I created this, I chose the people that are up here because they each have like their own section that they have influence in Houston. And then I wanted to leave it open-ended for just the people or anybody who is also in the future going to be part of that legacy, like I said. Yeah.
Well, can you walk us through each letter and kind of help us know who is represented in each letter, or what's the story behind them?
I started off thinking about like people who have influenced just everyday life of Houstonians. So if we start with the M, that is Gonzo 247. He is a Mexican-American Texan from Houston who is known for specifically doing a lot of graffiti and street art around the city.
Yeah.
So I was looking at his history, what he's done. I chose some of the colors from the Houston is Inspired mural. So behind him, you can see some of like the yellow, golden, oranges that are from like the rays that are behind it. And put some of his like accomplishments on each of the letters. So moving to the I wanted to look at somebody who has had an impact in like the audio, like music industry. So I chose Selena. I know she's technically from Corpus, but whenever you think like
She's got history here.
yeah, whenever you think like Selena live in concert, you think of like the Astrodome and like that big impact that she had in the city. So
She performed at Miller. I'll say that too. We found a video of her as a
learning
kid.
new things. Learning new things. So I put her as part of like the music part of the city and like her impact that she's had on there. For the D, I wanted to have somebody who was part of like politics, or somebody who, whenever you look at like politicians, stuff in your city, you want to see yourself also in the person that's there. So I went with Lina Hidalgo. She was the first Latino woman elected for the Harris County judge. And, she's been doing great stuff for the city. For the T, I could have chosen, there's many other people that could have fit that, but I wanted to leave it open-ended as both like a photo opportunity and to just for anybody who is aspiring to be the next like pioneer of change, just as a Houstonian or as a like Hispanic person in Houston.
Yeah.
Then if we move over to the O, I wanted to talk to some or highlight somebody who was doing science and education. So I went with Ellen Ochoa. She also was the first Hispanic woman in space. And then the other two are Mama Ninfa Laurenzo for the Latin cuisine in Houston. You know, the original Ninfa is the navigation.
Of course, yeah.
Yes. And I'm sure everybody also knows like José Altuve for the Astros. And those are the people that I chose for each letter. Yeah.
And only if you had so many more letters to really represent the so many people in Houston of Hispanic heritage that have made an influence, right? I'm sure it was hard to pick, how many, 5?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, like I said, I had to kind of think about like, oh, who would I want to? But yeah, if I had more letters, then it would have kept going. Right.
Now, tell us a little bit about where you draw inspiration from. I do see in your work that you pull from pop art and also some illustration. What are your inspirations? What are you pulling from? What are you creating to tell the story of these people that you choose?
Oh, sure. So specifically for this piece, I was looking at like colors, textures, and for like the line work, like just icons that would tell the story from around Houston. So I chose a lot of more like a little distress, grungy looks to it for like just like the concretes, like I said, some of them are for like the street art, the graffiti that's going on. And then each one of them has a color corresponding to something that has to do with the Hispanic pioneer that's being represented. I already mentioned the one for Gonzo for his Houston's Inspired mural. Selena behind it has like a dark maroon that it's a nod to the outfit that she was wearing at the Astronome. For Lina Hidalgo, I did a light purple for kind of just like the city, representing kind of like a more of a mixed color for it. Blue for the NASA Johnson Space Center.
Here in the middle. There you
Okay.
go. I think maybe there's an antenna thing or something.
I see. Okay. And behind the other two, they have a red for like the Ninfa's logo, and of course the Astros orange. So I was looking at both the textures, colors, and design elements from the city of Houston, sprinkled a little bit of like Hispanic culture, like Mexican American colors and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah.
Are you? You talk about storytelling in your work and exploring the stories, and I'm curious what a common thread is in all your work and all your designs that you do as part of your art, and how it's connected to what you did here in the park. What is the through line, if there is any?
I think there is a little bit. Like this style that I did for this, I've been kind of working with, and if you go through like the artwork that I've done on my own, I've been kind of playing around with this. So it's as like for graphic design, it is very important to look at the storyline or the message that you're trying to convey. That is, number one, because if you can't get that message, you could have like a beautiful piece, but it's not gonna hit as well as if you had the message you're trying to convey. So I guess the through line was just looking at like part of inspiration from the city, from my background, from just the years that I've worked, and putting it into the own work that I'm doing, and for the Midtown sign here as well.
Yeah, if you don't mind me saying, after looking at your Instagram, which I don't know if you want to share your account for those that are listening.
Oh, sure. It's at Merino, Merino.
Yeah, you can check out some of his work there. I did notice Houston as a huge source of inspiration for you. So tell me a little bit about growing up in Houston and how that affects your work, or did it play a role in, you said earlier, in becoming an artist, you had people that supported you, but what else about your heritage? Where is your family's heritage from? Just as we celebrate you as a Latin American person this month.
So my heritage is Mexican American. So they come from both Puebla and Morelos. And I grew up in outskirts Houston, like North Houston, towards like Conroe area. And as I started thinking about schools and all that, I moved into the city. So a big part of my life has been in Houston. And like you mentioned, I do a lot of work about it just because I'm proud to be from Houston, and I really like the city. Anytime anybody's like, where should you go visit? I'm like, don't overlook Houston over here. Like, there's a lot of great places. And like you said, I hope that it does come out in the work that I make. So even though sometimes I don't make exact work about like Hispanic culture, Houston, there is still that background that you kind of reach back from about like your culture, about like you've seen, what you've known, and you try to put a little bit of that into each piece that you make, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, what are you working on next? What's coming up? What are you exploring?
Right now, this has been taking up a lot of time.
No.
But no.
Actually, how many hours? Just so folks know the undertaking of what it takes from concept to design to actually installing it. What did it take to install this in Bagley Park?
It took from like the research to finishing it maybe about a week. That's like on and off working on it. Funny thing now, but at the moment it wasn't. I got the notification that it got chosen, and I went to go look at the file, and it had gotten corrupted. So I had to recreate it from scratch again.
Oh no! So it took more hours than it was.
So it was another 2 extra days if you add it on top of the week and a half. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to ask you a final sort of a different question that's on top of my mind, but I'm so curious, and I think it's been a topic of conversation in the art world and also in the performing arts world, which I work in, which is, I'm so curious as a graphic designer what your thoughts on are AI and how it's going to affect your future in the work, and you know what it means to support artists like you who are working in graphic design. And yeah, talk to me about your thoughts. Just a tiny question.
Yeah, I feel like everybody has that question about like, so what's AI doing for you, right?
And you're like, I use it. No, just kidding.
I do use it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's I think it's a helpful tool. Of course, you still need like that person-to-person interaction, especially for like design work and for clients. You know, they're not going to go straight to the AI and ask it the question. So I do believe that it is helpful for making the process go quicker. So now, if you know how to use it right, you can make the work in maybe twice or faster than the amount of time that used to take to make, especially for like photo editing or for certain things like that. So I do still believe that you should support artists who are making everything, you know, putting in the work, but AI is a tool that can be used for your work also to help you out. So that's my stance on it, I guess. Yeah.
Well, certainly the thing AI cannot do for the arts is copy an actual artist's creativity that is stemmed from your heritage, from your history, from your own desires and likes. So I think it's, I think the work that you do and that you have here installed is really impactful and amazing. And what are your final thoughts just on what you hope people walk away with as they come to the park and interact with this?
Oh, sure. So I had 2 things that I want people to look at the piece and walk away with. The first one was just as I was like in the process of researching, I was able to find new people from the Hispanic culture that have caused an impact or made an impact in the city. I didn't know about Ellen Ochoa before this, so it was a good refresher to kind of like see who has come before and is doing great things around here. So I would hope that somebody who comes here can look at them and either leave and be like, I'm gonna research Gonzo to, or I'm gonna research Ellen and figure out some more, just because there's people that are doing great things. And two, I wanted people to feel included. So the main part why I left the tea more open-ended was because, like I said, everybody has an impact on somebody, whether it's in like at your home, at school, at work. So I wanted people to be and come and be included with the other people that have come before them. And I think that's something that should be celebrated. So those are the two things that I want people to go away with after looking at the design. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think, if you're listening, not here at the park with us this evening, and that you come down to Bagby Park and check out this artwork, you can come right up to it, take pictures, interact with it, and it really is such a beautiful story of Hispanic heritage here in Houston. And now you're part of that too, because this is your work of art. So
Thank you.
thank you. And we have some questions from the audience now that we are opening it up to you. If you have any questions for Urias or Urias. Someone yelled out, "What's your favorite letter?"
Okay. Well, I like them all equally, just to say. But if I had to choose one, I really like how the oak came out, the Ellen Ochoa, like the design on it. I really enjoyed making that one. Yeah.
Is that what you need? Okay. Sorry, I distracted from your
Hi.
answer.
I
No,
always,
you're
I
good.
always ask this question because I have a son that's an actor, and so I always ask, maybe at some point you'll be a parent. I don't know if you are yet or not, but at some point you have a child or other people that you know bring their child and say, my kid wants to do art. Every parent wants, well, at least mine did, art to be the backup, right? You can be a
Yes.
lawyer or a doctor or in whatever it is, right? How do you feel about that? How do you encourage children and parents to realize that there is a career in art?
Yes, yeah. So, like I said before, I was fortunate enough to have people who, at a young age, encourage that. So I am all for that. I think parents should, if they see that their kids are interested in going into like an artistic field, like we always need somebody who's doing, something creative. I think it's good to also look at like, just make sure that you know everything going into it. But at the end of the day, if it's something that they want to do and if it's something that they're really interested, I do think that it should be encouraged and they should go through for it, because there's a lot of professions that maybe we're not thinking of it. Like I hadn't considered graphic design until I went to the school and saw about it. So I think it's great. I think people should continue doing that. Yeah.
Hi, sorry,
hey.
got here late, Houston traffic. But my question was, how long did it take to do the art?
So from research to the end, it took about a week and a half on and off. And once I started, it's just a lot of like putting it into the programs and just making small changes until I'm finally happy with it. So that was why it took so long. So I'll work on it, leave it for a little while, come back with fresh eyes, and then finally until I'm like, I like it, or I should find it, like the deadline's here, I need to submit it. So about a week and a half to answer.
Well, I just want to say it's beautiful since I do commute daily by here, so it's good to see it every day. Thank you.
Oh, great.
Anybody have a question? Anybody else have a question?
you did such a phenomenal job during the interview that I think you've answered everybody's questions in advance.
Oh, okay. Well,
So you're not only a great artist, but you're great at explaining your art.
oh, thank you. I was hoping that I wasn't just up here rambling, so I'm glad everybody was able to get it. Yeah.
Do we have any more questions? Oh, we do have another one.
Let's go for it.
Hello.
Hi.
As an artist to another artist, how does, as an artist to another artist, how do you find the motivation to create this and make it into a reality or tell a story, and how do you overcome my fear as well?
Like I said, I think having like personal projects that you're interested in and want to like pursue is always good. Especially in like a field where you have to work for and create other people's visions. I think having something that you really like, for me, for example, is a lot of the work, like you mentioned, has to do with Houston and the city I'm in and taking inspiration from that. So find something that you are interested in, inspires you, and I think the ideas and the work will start flowing out. And sometimes you just have to put pen to paper or open up Illustrator and Photoshop and just start at it, and eventually it'll come up with something that's good and that you like. And if not, it was just a learning experience at that point. So I hope that answered your question. Yeah, okay.
Great job.
Thank you.
We have another question over here.
So with the images that you have up there of the different people are iconic, what was the selection choice like for choosing those specific images of those people? What was your process of figuring out which one you wanted to use?
Great question.
You said for like specific image or specific person? Oh, okay. Part of it was composition, seeing which one would fit better, but also some of them were for the theme. Like I said, for Selena, it was the image that she did at her concert at the Astrodome. For like Ellen Ochoa, she has like great portraits, but this one was the one that she's holding like her astronaut helmet and stuff. And yeah, some of the other ones, like I said, it just came down to composition and which one would look better with the overall design. Yeah.
Do we have any other questions? We have another one here on the floor.
You have 6 people there. Who was number 7 that you left off, didn't make the cut?
Oh, I don't know. There was a lot of people that I was looking at. I couldn't say who the 7th one would have been.
Would you share some of that you were looking at?
Sorry?
Would you share some of the other people that you're considering to put on the artwork?
Oh, yeah. So I looked at, her name's escaping me right now, but I was looking at also for education. There's been a lot of great people that have done a lot for Houston. And just because of where we are, there was a lot of like Mexican American people that were here. So I did try to be more inclusive. So I did add other people again to part of the selection, like Lina Hidalgo and José Altuve to also be part of like Colombian heritage and Venezuelan heritage. So there was a lot more other people that are just escaping my mind, put me on the spot over here.
What are friends for? Because I have a feeling that this is one of your buddies.
Oh, yes, yes.
Do we have any other questions? Well, if not, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out, and I hope that you don't plan on leaving. We'll have an opportunity to take photographs of the sign wrap, and I'm sure the artist will be happy to make a cameo in your photos.
Yeah, sure. No.
All right. And please stay after for movie night. We will be featuring A Million Miles Away. And it is also in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month.
Thank you. And once again, thank you and an applause for our featured artist, Urias Merino.